Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
Big cryptocurrency trade. Wanted to thank XRP Crypto Wolf for bringing that to our attention. Also wanted to mention this, guys, from the Wrath of Kahneman. This has to do with Ripple partner Wiz Financial. How is the cross-border payment space evolving? So this just out yesterday, and this was an interview that was done. When is the acquisition of Express Money Services Limited expected to be complete? And they responded, we expect it to be complete within the next 4 to 6 weeks. What are the key areas of disruption in the cross-border payment sector? The response, the cross-border payment sector has seen a rise in the last 5 years as more digital players enter the sector using their apps for transactions origination. However, most of these solutions still require the same old correspondent banking network to move money. So while the front end has undergone a massive change, the underlying rails have not changed. Blockchain technology has the potential to disrupt this market by removing the reliance on correspondent banks and enabling cross-border transfers to be made far cheaper and quicker. So even just by mentioning that, enabling cross-border transfers to be made far cheaper and quicker, sounds as though that they are really hitting that point home. Getting on DLT blockchain technology, utilizing a service like RippleNet. In this case, we know Wiz Financial is partnered with Ripple. It does make total sense for them to say this. Additionally, more than 80 central banks around the world are in different stages of development of their digital currency, which gives a clear picture as to where the sector is headed. As a world-leading player in the space, we see an opportunity to grow the industry beyond exchange houses, but rather to utilize digital banking as a way to help economies grow and flourish. So this is just some of the questions that they were asked in this interview. There's only a couple more here. I will link this in the description if you guys want to read the last two. It does give a good sense of where we're going. I think Wrath of Kahneman also sums it up quite well here. Blockchain. So here's some of the talking points that they mentioned. Just along the same lines as what Ripple has talked about in the past. Blockchain removing correspondent banks. They deal with high-value transactions, which has always kind of been the target for XRP utilization. Build unified platforms in the UAE and the GCC and beyond remittances as well. So starting with remittances, but also going beyond remittances, using the technology for other purposes. This is all the more notable given that they recently partnered up with NIPL, which I mentioned, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago now, for payments into India's UPI. UAE is a strategic market for us, home to 3.5 million Indians, and a top outbound travel destination for Indians as well. So another golfbusiness.com article here with regards to Wiz Financial and what they are doing. Wiz Financial is a new organization formed from Enablers Insolvency and BFC, among others, includes UAE Exchange, Express Money Services, and more. So the Ripple connection there, the talking points revolving around the transactions that they are conducting now, obviously utilizing the RippleNet platform. So interesting. Obviously utilizing the RippleNet platform, or at least this is what we are assuming based on what we know today. Wanted to thank the Wrath of Kahneman for pointing that out. And with regards to the Ripple SEC case, guys, I think we are getting closer than we maybe initially thought. This from G, the Gray Fox here. New Ripple claims the SEC plans on hiding key documents, showing XRP is not a security. Did you guys hear about this? So the SEC has been doing everything possible to protect relevant documents from its previous staff, which could be vital in ending the more than 1 year legal battle between the agency and Ripple. Gives a bit of a description here, and I've talked about this case on this channel quite frequently, so I'll skip over that. I will link this in the description if you guys are interested. But in the recently filed Ripple's response to the court, the blockchain company's lawyer, Matthew Solomon, noted that the SEC is poised to protect the documents because the agency's own former director of corporate finance has made the possible analysis and conclusion that XRP is not a security. Whoa, wait a minute. What? Well, apparently Jeremy Hogan also noticed this. I tried to analyze this for you in a true legal sense, but my mind was blown by the part below, and I couldn't think about much else after. Is the SEC potentially hiding a document in which the SEC concluded that XRP was not a security? What does Matthew Solomon know? So right down here, guys, it's written in black and white in this document from the SEC. The discussions, including the 52 unique drafts of the speech, bear on whether the individual defendants' understanding and conclusions were reasonable, under the circumstances, or reckless. The SEC should not be permitted to argue to the fact finder that Mr. Garlinghouse and Mr. Larson were reckless, not to recognize that XRP purchasers saw XRP as an investment in a common enterprise while concealing potentially that the SEC's own director of the Division of Corporate Finance had analyzed a substantially similar digital asset, and then in brackets here, and maybe even XRP itself, what? And concluded that it was not a security. So they are stating it now here in this document. They are saying that potentially maybe one of their own directors of the Division of Corporate Finance even said, okay, XRP, not a security. Jeremy Hogan's mind was blown when he saw that. XRP Crypto Wolf chiming in on this. So Ripple lawyer Michael Solomon is one of the best lawyers in the world for a reason. He knows everything. Wrath of Kahneman here also bringing up this point with regards to XLM, considering they are so similar. Also suggests that there could be a consideration of XLM somewhere in the paperwork too. It is close enough to XRP that it alone could be damaging to the SEC arguments, and if there are documents for both, that would be significant. CNF bringing up another counterpoint here. XLM does have a different origin story from both XRP and Ethereum, but in a world where the SEC thinks XRP is an unregistered security and isn't necessarily clear on Ethereum, it's perfectly reasonable they think XLM is an unregistered security as well. Yeah, I mean, none of this really is logical. We are just kind of flowing with what the SEC believes and what they've put out there and what they claim is the truth. But you know, these documents now suggesting that they could have even maybe classified XRP itself as not a security, as underlined here by Jeremy Hogan, is mind-blowing, you know, considering we've been dragging this out now for over a year. Jeremy Hogan responding down here, John Deaton said it months ago, if those emails are required to be turned over, there will be a settlement shortly thereafter. So are we to expect a settlement now? Now that we know these documents have been turned over, this changes everything. That November 2022 deadline, does that still hold? So we also got Ashley Prosper here, XRP community. This part right here, Ripple is suggesting that in those 53 Hinman speech emails, there may lie an analysis that XRP, along with Ethereum, was not a security. And she's also highlighting the same point here that I just read from the Jeremy Hogan tweet. Jeremy Hogan down here also saying, Ashley, I should have just retweeted your analysis. Got a little overexcited and hit the caps too much. Yours is much more mature. But anyway, to this point, guys, and to Jeremy Hogan's point that John Deaton mentioned this months ago, if those emails are required to be turned over, there will be a settlement shortly thereafter. So does this push the deadline up? Will we see a settlement sooner now, now that we have this information sooner rather than later. I saw this from Michael at Val5Links, SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, not ending anytime soon based on court rulings. So I saw this and thought I'd read a little bit of this just to get a sense of what they're suggesting here based on the information they have. This article just briefly goes over the lawsuit. Recent developments, however, have made Ripple enthusiasts believe the end is in sight, and the fintech company made things more interesting after it indicated in a recent court filing that its lawsuit with the SEC would end before November 18th, 2022. So that was the original timeline we got. Unfortunately, the case could extend beyond the stipulated time following recent court rulings. Last week, the SEC had its motion to stop the blockchain company from using the fair notice defense. So this report is based on the information that we got either last week or the week before. Following the denial, Ripple would prove before the court that the SEC did not provide a prior notice that its cryptocurrency offerings could breach existing securities laws. The blockchain company could also argue that the securities agency did not notify the company for more than 7 years after it conducted the XRP sales because there is no clear regulation. And then they talk about the Dr. Albert Metz rebuttal that we talked about last week. So here they're still assuming we are going to settle in November of 2022. However, another great tweet here from Jeremy Hogan. The SEC is requesting an extension. Of course they are. But look at footnote number 2. Ripple is suggesting the initial summary judgment briefs be filed by May. The SEC is, of course, saying that's too soon. But, guys, it looks as though the end game is in sight. And I gotta say, I think that now that this has come out, this damning information, maybe even XRP itself had been concluded in those emails that it was not a security. I think this changes the landscape. I think this certainly changes the game. So what does Jeremy Hogan mean by this new deadline, May? What he posts down here is this: the footnote. Defendants also proposed a summary judgment schedule with opening briefs and related filings due in mid-May. The individual defendants also indicated that they would proceed with briefing despite the pending discovery-related motions. The SEC believes that such a briefing schedule is premature, given that the individual defendants have yet to answer the complaint and plead affirmative defenses, and respectfully requests that the court direct the parties to meet and confer regarding a summary judgment schedule once the SEC has advised the court of its position on the need for additional discovery. So they are saying right here in this first sentence, defendants also propose a summary judgment schedule with opening briefs and related filings due in mid-May. So the SEC wants to counter that. They're saying that is too soon. That was just based on this tweet here that Jeremy Hogan retweeted from James K. Filan from 15 hours ago, so just from yesterday. The SEC has filed yet another request for an extension. But could we see some kind of summary judgment in May? And I know I was reading this tweet thread down here, and somebody from Europe, I believe, I forget who it was, but somebody from Europe didn't quite understand what summary judgment was. So I thought I'd bring it up here in case maybe some of you guys are confused as well. In some cases, the key facts are not disputed and require that judgment be entered for one of the parties. This is known as summary judgment. And so we're talking about initial summary judgment. So not the entire summary judgment, but initial summary judgment here. So what does that mean? This is known as summary judgment in that it summarily ends the case before trial. The purpose of the trial is to have somebody, the judge or the jury, decide what the facts are. So if we get summary judgment, that means we could get somewhat of a verdict before trial. If this in fact does go to trial, it might settle instead. XRP Crypto Wolf also mentioning that. Is there a high possibility the SEC settling the XRP lawsuit in April or May? And Jeremy Hogan responding, generally speaking, settlement is most likely after discovery is closed and before summary judgment briefs are filed. So we could see a settlement if they decide, both parties decide to settle on an agreement before summary judgment, which is looking like mid-May, if Ripple lawyers have their way.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.